will be wondering what we'll be talking about. We all know that we set out to get married and we have high hopes, and we assume or we pray that we will have a successful marriage, we will enjoy our marriages, and it will be a fairy tale lifestyle. But then it's so unfortunate that we get into marriage and there's so many things that happen. And sometimes you are not able to control it, or things don't go the way that it's supposed to go. And this goes a long way to affect us, which sometimes can also lead to depression. With us tonight to discuss these things, Mr. Derek K. Cato and Mrs. Susanna Sando. With Mr. Derek Cato, he attended Addis Adel College and he proceeded to KNUST. He did his MPhil Clinical Health Psychology at University of Cape Coast, and he's now with 37 Military Hospital. Derek, you are welcome.
Thank you very much.
Our sister Susie also attended UCC. She pursued Masters of Education in Guidance and Counseling. She's currently a head mistress, an associate pastor, and also a mother of 2 boys. Welcome, Susie. Welcome, Susie. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us to discuss this interesting program. And I'm sure that, sorry for the delay in transmitting this. We are also live on YouTube, Sub the Counselor. So in case we miss this one, we can always share the link with our friends so they can also learn something. I'll start with Susie. Susie, what is depression? When we say depression in general, what does it mean?
Okay. Thank you so much. Let me say a very good evening to your cherished listeners. And also, I'm sorry for joining late. It was due to circumstances beyond my control. I hope you forgive me. So, well, depression generally is a mood disorder that causes a persistent feeling of sadness, loneliness, and loss of interest. It's okay. Depression is a serious condition that affects one's behavior. It also affects the way you think, our emotions, and physical health over time. I think I'll leave this here for now.
Okay, thank you. Derek, since you are coming from the clinical area, if someone comes to you or you are able to diagnose that somebody has depression, what does it mean?
Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm saying hi to everybody here, and then we are glad you joined this program. And before I give you the signs of what depression is or what we diagnose as depression, I want you to know that depression is the most commonly diagnosed mental illness in the world. And where I work, depression is almost every day we diagnose people of depression. And depression is, as we commonly know, like say we are depressed, but we have some clinical markers supposed to meet that we say you are depressed. And you have to know that depression is not just you feeling low, in having low mood and all that. You have to know that depression can be as a result of various factors. And since we use the biopsychosocial model to understand what illness is, we can take depression from the biological point of view, which mostly deal with neurotransmitters in the brain, which is either hypofunctioning almost at the time hypofunctioning. And in this case, we are talking about dopamine and in some cases serotonin. And then psychosocial issues can also cause depression. And when I say psychosocial issues, I mean our environment that we live in, the people we interact with, our thoughts. All of this can cause depression. And then it is seen in our behavior that you see that you have low mood, you want to talk to anybody, there is no energy, you are sleeping more, you are not engaging with people as you used to. So what we see is that people move away from their normal ways of life that they do, and they're likely to have insomnia. They're not able to sleep well, or they are sleeping more. They are not able to eat, or they are eating more. Sometimes depression, and people with depression also have suicidal ideation. And the literature has seen that a lot of people who have who kill themselves or who die by suicide, okay, has been related to depression. And we can also find depression in some mental health issues, such as bipolar and the like. But you usually see it in bipolar more than any other illness. But we have to be aware that mental health is real, and everybody at some point in time would go through some mental health crisis. And so when we are seeing people who are going through mental health crisis, we should know that they are trying their best to overcome it, but sometimes it's hard for them. And to end it all, I want to let people know that depression, like in a layman's term, okay, then put it this way, that it's your body telling you that I don't want to be this character anymore.
Okay, thank you, Derek. In that case, what is depression in marriage? Derek, please, I would appreciate it if you can speak louder.
Okay.
Yes,
All
please,
right.
what is depression in marriage?
Okay. So before I start with what's depression in marriage is, okay, I want to really let's talk about how marriage came about, or what's marriage is and why people marry. Okay. So over the years, right, gone were the days where marriage was planned or it was arranged between two families. And usually this is done for the practicality of it. Is that the family wants land, they want protection, they want power or money. And you see that people would intermarry just to protect themselves from the maybe their enemy. People intermarry so that they can gain economic gain, right? Then we saw a shift in that to in the 18th century, where marriage is most of the times based on how you feel about somebody. You love the person, and then this is how you feel about the person, and so this person is going to solve all your problems, is going to make a perfect match for you, and is going to make you a better person overall. And then now we've seen a paradigm shift also, where people are understanding marriage to be that, yes, there is the practicality of it, there is the romanticism part of it, but then there's also a practicality part of it, where people understand that even though I'm getting married to this person, I love this person and all that, the person should also have some social statuses and all that, and some help that the person will bring on board. So now there's a fusion of the practicality of marriage, marrying for power, love, land, and statuses. In addition to that, we have the fusion of the love, okay, where you feel connected to this person, where the instinct and all that of this person, is linked to the marriage. And so in marriage now, you are looking for all these things in one person in most of the cases, since most of people in the world practice monogamy. In marriage, you are looking for all this in one person. Okay. And at a point in time, there can be issues that would arise out of this. And that is what we call depression in marriage. Okay. Where maybe you are together with this person and some of your expectations are not met. That could lead you to getting depression in the marriage. Hello?
Thank you, Derek. Susie, in your view, what are some of the causes of depression? What are some of the causes of depression in marriage? Because I know that we all go into it with so many expectations, and when you get into it, you realize that no, it's not like what you have read maybe in storybooks and other things. So, what really causes depression in marriage?
Okay, so thank you so much. I would like us to look at Proverbs chapter 18, verse 22. It reads that whosoever finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. Mostly, this is what people quote on their wedding invitation cards. So the man has the expectation that I have found a good thing. And for that matter, I am going to obtain favor from the Lord. Another scripture in the Bible says that if you find a wife, it is a good treasure. And I think all of us, when we find something good, every morning when you wake up, you look at the good thing and you smile. You have fulfillment that, yes, I have worked hard and I have achieved this. So many people enter into marriage with this kind of expectation. So one, now you are in the marriage and you are not treated as that treasure you perceive before entering into the marriage. It can lead to depression. Women, for instance, wants to be pampered. We want affection. We want time. Like, we want everything from our men. So if a man fails to give his wife the needed attention she wants, sometimes they feel disappointed and can get depression. I know a friend who said, as for her, even if you don't give her chop money, but every day whilst you are at work, call to check on her. Honey, are you at work? What's up for the day? And that alone is enough for her because she's equally working and she's making the money. But her money is not enough for her. So one of the causes of depression in marriage is when we don't get the fulfillment we expected to get before entering the marriage. And one is the affection and the time I spoke about. Some partners are just too busy that they cannot squeeze time to show their partners love and to care. Another cause of depression in marriage is when there are conflicts in the marriage. Most of us grew up with parents who understand themselves. And for that matter, when there's a misunderstanding, they just talk and it ends there. But others, their mothers were like punching bags. Every day they receive beatings from their dads. And some sent it to their marriage as well. And because of that, every mistake from the spouse, they cannot understand it. It turns to a big quarrel. So when you are in a marriage where there's no peace, every day, fights, and sometimes even beatings, definitely one will be depressed. And I'm talking on the side of women. If the man who confesses that he loves you, marries you and sends you home, and just a little mistake, maybe you place something where he didn't expect you to place it, and you have to receive 2 slaps because of that. And most of us women too will say, no, because I have 2 children, because I have 3 children, I will not talk. I cannot leave this marriage. I have to stay because of my children. So instead of enjoying marriage, they stay in the marriage to endure. And how long can you endure? So if there are conflicts in the marriage, especially when it's frequent, one party can be depressed. The other one I want to talk about is when there is bereavement, maybe you have lost a spouse. We say for better, for worse, till death do us part. Then a husband you love so much, you have plans. Some even have joint accounts. They have plans that they want to start a private school. They have plans that they want to start a business, how they want to invest for their children. Then just 2 years, 3 years into the marriage, one child, or maybe you are still pregnant. Get a baby, and maybe sickness or accident takes the child away. There can be depression. Then accident. In marriage, recently I heard how someone went and did traditional marriage. And when they were carrying the wife back home, usually for us, I am from the north, you go to the lady people and then you do the wedding there and carry her away. Whilst they were returning to the guy's place, they had an accident. And the lady has to lose one leg. Accidents can bring depression because I was on my feet and he saw me and loved me and said he will marry me. Now I am in the marriage. All of a sudden, I have lost one hand, one leg, or maybe my eyes. It will be difficult to take it. Even if your spouse is understanding and is ready to accept you, personally, you will have that inner feeling that no, I cannot do things I used to do for myself. You have to depend on people for help. And it can lead to depression. The other one is illness, maybe cancer. They'll have to take one breast away. Sometimes they have to cut part of your body to mend the other side. So deformity will come in. It puts one into thinking. You think a lot. You want to mingle with people and that low self-esteem will come. No, don't. Have you forgotten that they have two as you have one? Have you forgotten that you have this particular sickness, excuse me to say, maybe HIV? And your people around you will know that you have it. It can bring depression. And some partners will even allow you to follow them out, maybe for parties, church program. Others will not allow you to follow them. So once they dress and go out and you know, oh, my colleagues have all gone for this program, but because of this illness, I am on my sick bed and maybe bedridden and cannot get up, it can bring about depression. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Interesting. Okay, I'd just like to remind ourselves that it's going to be an interactive discussion. For us, we always know that when our speakers are done, we interact with the audience as well. So please, if I call your name, please do well to at least chip in something. Okay, from what you said, Susie, so does it mean that it is only sadness or troubles or problems in marriages that causes depression? Does it mean if I am happy, I cannot be depressed? Derek, can you take up that one for me? If I am in a marriage and I am happy, it means I can't be depressed.
Okay. I think it's important that we realize that before I answer that question, we realize that conflict is not a problem in every marriage or in any relationship, because you need to fight, you need to have the conflict. However, the problem here is the repair. How do you repair after you fight? Okay, so in every relationship, there's conflict, but how do you repair it after you fight? And usually when people are fighting in relationships or when there are conflict in relationships, Esther Perel says that these people are fighting for three things. Okay, the first thing is they are fighting for power and control in the relationship. At this time, do I have control over you? Can I say something for you to listen to me? That is power and control. People are fighting over closeness and care. Here, it means that the things you are doing, do I feel that you care for me? Do I feel close to you? Are you, so maybe you're fighting over a towel. It's not about the towel. It's about how close I feel to the person. They're fighting over, you don't call me and all that. It's not about that. It's about how close they feel to you. And then the last one is dignity and respect. In the dignity and respect, are you doing things that make me feel respected? Are you doing things that dignifies me and all that? So yes, conflicts are very, very important in every relationship. But then the repair is also as important as the conflict. And then just for the clarity's sake, so to clear the air about, is there only sadness that could bring depression in a relationship? I think sadness can contribute, but what is bringing about the sadness? There is a need which is not being fulfilled. That is what is going to bring about the sadness. But then there are also other biological components. For example, we know that when women go to give birth, they experience some baby blues, and experience the baby blues. At that point in time, they don't want to talk to anybody and all that for about a week or two. That's what they will go through. But then after a week or two, and then we realize that it's so persistent, then it means that we are supposed to realize that the woman is going through a type of depression which is called postpartum depression. So it's important that we are looking out for all these things. It's important that we are looking out for all these things when we are looking at relationships. And I don't know, but I think that relationship is not going to make you happy, because we are all flawed. And we are not looking for happiness in relationship. If you look for happiness in relationship, I think it's a low goal. I think that looking for purpose in a relationship is going to give you happiness, because you can't always be happy all the time. So what is going to give you the encouragement to continue is the purpose. Why am I in this? Is this thing worth it any at all? And so if you are looking at the fact that we want to be happy and happiness is the only thing we are looking out for relationship, then I'm sorry, we are not going to get it. So it's important that we realize that, yes, at some point there will be happy moments and all that, but that is not the aim of the relationship that we are in. The aim is to make us better human beings. The aim is to realize that the person is not perfect, accepting this person as who he or she is, but then working with a person so that the person can get better, and then we can all enjoy, because the main purpose of this is to get better. Hello?
Yeah.
Yes. So
Okay.
as I was saying, the main purpose of the relationship is to help each other get better, not to find happiness. If the happiness is the main thing, then we should always be happy, and we're not going to get happy all the time. It's important that you realize that, yes, there's happiness, but that is not the goal. It's a secondary thing that would come out of the purpose we are finding in the relationship. Thank you.
Thank you. So we shouldn't seek happiness first, but we should think about the purpose of why we are together or why we are married. Okay. Okay. So are there any effects, like if I am depressed, or if a husband is depressed, or if a wife is depressed, are there any effects on that particular person?
Yes, please. There are effects that comes with these things. When people are depressed, it's hard for you to communicate with them, because you are trying to understand what's going on with them. These people are not giving out their best. You feel like people are not giving out their best, and so the marriage suffers. That is one. Secondly, it's likely to affect your sex life, because people who are depressed in most cases don't want to engage in any intimacy and all that. So it becomes a problem with that. And also, if you people have children, the upbringing of the children becomes a problem, because the children this is not the mommy or the daddy they knew. You realize that when people are depressed, with men, sometimes they'll go in for alcohol and all that. It has high effect on these children and their cognition and when they develop. So it's important that we realize that people who are going through depression suffer a lot, and they don't suffer alone. The people with them also suffer. And so the children are likely not to develop in the way we want them to develop. Secondly, the communication in the marriage is broken down. And then thirdly, the intimacy in the marriage is broken down. And at some point in time, this may lead to divorce. So these are some of the effects of depression in marriages.
Okay, thank you. Susie, so how do I identify that my partner is depressed, or my husband is depressed, or a wife is depressed? How would I be able to identify? Or is it that they would know themselves and come and tell you, sweetheart, I am depressed? What are some of the signs? Yeah.
So thank you for the opportunity once again. I think we can recognize signs of depression through our thoughts, our feelings, and behavior. So once it is not you, but your partner, I'll talk about the behavior, because for thoughts and feelings, sometimes it's within you. So I know my partner very well. I know how he is. I know how he talks. I know how he relates with me and other people around us. And I know how he attacks situations. I mean, how he deals with situations in the house. One, a change in his behavior could let you know that maybe he's having depression. One of the signs of a depressed person is that sometimes they are easily irritated. They get angry easily. So if your partner is someone who is very loving, he is kind, he's down to earth, and all of a sudden, even small things from his own children makes him angry. He's reserved, he doesn't want to talk to you, he doesn't want to even play with his own kids. His behavior will let you know. Then when we look at the definition of depression, we said it is a mood disorder. So once you know him, any change in his mood, you would know, especially if it is persistent. For once, it can happen. All of us sometimes have mood swings, especially with ladies. When you are pregnant, it comes and goes. But in a situation where it's persistent for days, for weeks, for months, you could tell that no, maybe my partner is depressed. And I think Derek, if I am right, he mentioned how sometimes they oversleep, sometimes they cannot sleep. All those things, you have your partner, you know how the time he sleeps and the time he wakes up. So if things like that change around him, it will be very obvious to tell that my partner is depressed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Derek, is there anything that you do want to add?
Just a little. Yes, all what she said is true about people who are having depression. With men, sometimes depression is shown through aggression. We get very aggressive. We get very, very irritated when things are not going the way we want it. And we can also stick to alcohol as a means of coping. Alcohol already is a depressant. When you take alcohol, it's likely to depress you. And that's why some people take alcohol and then go into coma. So that's how we men sometimes deal with depression. And then with females also, there is this diagnosis, premenstrual dysphoria disorder, usually around your menses, a week or 5 days to your menses. You see that sometimes they become very, very, very irritable. They have a lot of mood swings and all that. These are signs that you see in people who are having depression. I use the females because I think you guys have the menses all every time, so men are likely to be seeing this a lot of the time. Men are likely to be seeing this a lot of the time, so that is to the men, so that you can realize that it's not their doing, but these are things that are going on in their body, which is giving them some mood swings and all that, so that you can bear with them and then support them when you're going through all these things.
Thank you. Okay, now that we know how to identify whether our husbands or wives are depressed, I would like to take some comments from our honorable audience here. So I'll call out some names so that they can also chip in. It can be your own experience, it can be somebody's experience. We just want to know. We want practical examples for us to know how to identify it. Our panelists have told us how to, but we want practical examples as to how to. So I'll just come through and just mention some names. Stephanie Nyamiche. Stephanie Nyamiche, please, are you by your phone? Okay. If Stephanie is not around, Beverly Ajwa Opoku. Beverly.
Hi.
Okay. Beverly is also not around. Okay, yeah, Beverly, yeah. Can you share any, either your experience or an experience of somebody?
Thank you. I think I would share an experience of someone, just a family member. At first, I think maybe the understanding of the marriage was not there. So any little thing that really happens, it brings fight, it brings quarrel. You see the husband insulting the wife, and sometimes it gets to the point of throwing blows. But with time, they got to understand each other. The wife got to understand that these are the things that if I quarrel, whatever I do, that is how he is. So let me just keep quiet and watch him. And the woman became that depressed that she didn't know what to do. So what really helped is that she talked to someone, and the person really encouraged her and told her, you see, these are the things that marriage is about. And if you want to retaliate in every situation and any quarrel, any statement, then you always go through this. So just pretend as if, unquote, let me say unquote, you are a fool. Just pretend. And let's see what happens. So the woman pretended, and sometimes she's that depressed, so she just goes out. Or sometimes, even if she's in the house, you just watch what the man will do. He would go ahead, insult, do all kind of things. But this time around, the woman is just relaxed. And since then, the man has also learned something from what really happened. So he has also realized that no, the way I'm going is not the right way. So he sometimes asks, now one partner say, like She has put the woman through everything. She has seen it all. So now, enye bibi amani biom. So she's now okay. And the man is really pushing her to say something, but there is nothing she is saying. But now they have sat down, spoke about it, and now everything is okay. So I think depression in marriage, when care is not taken or someone doesn't come in to talk to the individual, things that will happen is that bad. So that's my experience that I saw from afar from a family friend.
Okay, thank you, Beverly. Thank you so much. I've seen Eve. Eve, do you have any experience to share, or you'd want to share somebody's experience? Okay. What about David? David.
Oh,
Okay. David is also not available. Okay. Great or say. Great or say. Okay. Great or say is also not available. Nanaya. Nanaya. Okay. Hey. Why are we scared to talk? If you're not comfortable sharing your own experience, you can share the experience of somebody, maybe a movie that you even watched or a story that you read somewhere else, not necessarily your own. Experience. Okay, Linda Mankwa. Linda Mankwa. Hey, Linda is also not ready to talk. Today, our audience have decided not to talk to us. They have decided not to talk to us today. Okay, Galaxy 812. Galaxy 812. Hey. Galaxy S20 Plus. Galaxy S20 Plus. Okay. Since no one has decided to talk to us, we just move on.
Galaxy 20 Plus is the question from Germany. I just joined you.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Elder. And we are discussing depression in marriage, and our panelists have talked us through the causes, the effects. And we would want to have a practical example, maybe if you have witnessed some before, if since you are an elder, has there been a time that a couple has walked up to you to tell you that maybe he or she is depressed or something? So we want experiences, if you can share any experience with us. Let's continue. Derek, Now, if I'm able,
Yeah.
you've just told me how I'm supposed to identify some of the signs that would show that my partner is depressed. So if I see I break it to my partner, because, or is it that they will be aware that they are depressed and they would reach out for help? If not, how would I break it to, like, just break it to him or her that this is what is worrying you, or I think that you are depressed? How do I say it? Will the person accept it? Will the person be offended? How do I go about it?
Okay. Usually, some people are lucky. Okay, when they are going through the depression, they are aware of it themselves, and then they seek help. Okay, but some people, especially men, would find it very, very, very difficult to accept that they are going through depression. And so, what you do in most cases is that you empathize with them. You let them know that yes, you understand how they are feeling, and then you explain to them that you think that this could be a sign of depression, and they should look back at themselves. If this is how they were, you've studied them over time. This is what you've seen, and then you think that for the betterment of their relationship and the betterment of the family, if we could seek help, because seeking professional help is very, very important when it comes to depression and any mental health illness. So the first stage is you empathize with them, you give them the reason to go and see a professional to help them. And in giving them the reason to see a professional to help them, you know your partner best. You know what to say and how to say it so that your partner do not get angry or defensive. Because in most cases, how we say things get people either defensive or angry. Because you could be very, very frustrated when you are telling your partner that you are depressed, you are supposed to go to the hospital and all that, because it's affecting you. And that frustration could lead you to say things that you do not mean to say. And so usually you have to identify if you are getting frustrated and telling your partner and partner doesn't want to understand or agree, you need to identify the emotion you are feeling. Is it anger? Are you sad about all this that's happening? And in identifying the emotion, you need to be aware. And in getting awareness of this thing, it means that you need emotional intelligence. You understand how you feel, and then you know how this person is going to react when you say it. And so emotional intelligence is key in giving information to people that you think that it will be difficult for them to receive. So I think that for you to be able to pass on this information to your partner, you need to use emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence here is empathizing with them, understanding how they feel, and then knowing what would get them angry and what would not get them angry, and then communicating that to them to help the family at large, and then create the ambience that you need in your marriage for peace and prosperity in the marriage.
Hello, Akko, please, can I add something?
Yes, sure, you can.
Oh, okay. So once some people may not know that they have depression, you, a partner who has realized my partner is depressed, I know when you tell them the first time, it is not all who accept, no matter how you put it. Like what our brother just said, it is good to know how to put it for them to accept it. But there are some people, the first time you are saying it, he or she might not take it. So I just want to add that don't give up and leave it there and say, well, it's your life. If you don't need help, I will leave you. No, they are not aware. So what you can do as a good partner who wants the betterment of your spouse will be to be repeating it, maybe from time to time. My dear, what I said the last time, I still think observing you from maybe the period of this, you will know. I think we need to see a counselor. We need to see a professional to help us. Per my observation, I suggest this, that. Even if you say it the second time and still they are not taking it, still find time and continue. There will be a day he or she will reason with you and say, well, it's true. I've also seen that of late, I don't do this thing I used to do, or I'm doing this I used not to do, and might just agree. And you don't know, you will save your marriage through that. That is what I want to add.
Okay, thank you. Derek, can we say that depression is an intruder to our marriages? Like, is depression an intruder in our marriages? Or it is something that's naturally, it's born to happen?
So, I think that at any stage of our lives, there are things that we yearn for and things that we want. And usually it's a bit hard on us if we don't get them. So we have expectations. And so the expectations we have, when they are not met, then it becomes a problem for us. And then if we don't have the psychological capital to go through these things and then have the edge, or we need the purpose to overcome these things, it becomes a problem. So I wouldn't say it's an intruder. I think it provides you the foundation to either make your marriage a better one or make your marriage. Because when these things happen, that is where the love you said you have for the person is tested. Okay. How ready are you to put yourself out there to go all in to help this person overcome what the person is going through? Of course, you also need to be able to protect your own self, and in protecting your self, I mean self-care and all that. If you don't have the psychological capital when it comes to these things, it becomes hard on you. And so I just think that yes, there's depression, but then it serves as a foundation to either make the marriage or make the marriage. So you can use it for a better purpose if you know how to maneuver your way around it. But then if you are not willing to work things out, that's, as I said, you are not willing to find purpose in working things out with your partner, then it becomes a sort of an intruder for you.
Okay, thank you. Let's go back to our listeners if they are now ready to talk to us. iPhone, please, do you have anything to tell us?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay. So mine is a question. Can I ask a question?
Sure, you can.
Okay, yeah. So literally my question is, I have this friend and then she's going through a lot, and then we had a talk. So literally she said to me that well, she doesn't see herself that she's been depressed, but I can see that she's been depressed, or she's been depressed. And then she said to me, the husband is, the one causing it. Apparently the husband is going around with, other women. And then anytime she talks about it, the family looks like the family don't listen to her. And then they think she's the problem. And, this thing has been going on for so many years. So when she spoke to me, I told her, if the husband is the problem, I don't know how to even to solve the problem, or to even talk to her. Because if sometimes when she comes to me, she's all right. When we go to uni, she's all right. She'll be fine. Another day when she comes, she's just in a different mood. You could see from her face full of, place kind of pimples, all this thing on her face. But when you tell her she's being depressed or she's thinking too much, she'll just tell you, oh no. So my question is, such a person, it's very sensitive, her situation is very, so how do you approach, or how do you even go to the husband and talk to the husband, or how do you even advise the woman as well? That's my question. Thank you.
Derek, would you want to take it for us?
Okay, sure. I think that the best thing to do is to encourage your friend to seek professional help, because I don't know, but I think that professionals are in the best position to help this person, because if you don't have any training in psychology or clinical psychology or counseling psychology, then going about these things, you can actually make things worse. So I think it's important that you can encourage your friend to see a professional to help her through all that she's going through. That's the ethical thing for you to do if you really love your friend, to help her.
Susie, what's your take on that? Hello, Susie. Okay, I think we've lost Susie. I'm sure she'll be back. But Derek, before iPhone comes back, I didn't even ask her name. Before iPhone comes back,
Hello.
You said that's the ethical thing to do. But how do I convince that friend? How would you convince that friend that you need to seek professional help? If the person doesn't even know she's depressed, how can I tell the person that, look, you are depressed, so see a professional help? How do we go about it?
Okay. Well, you can educate your friend about it, how depression looks like. That's how far you can go, because you cannot force your friend to either go see a therapist or not. All you can do is that you educate your friend what depression is, what depression can do to you, and you just hope that your friend would listen to you and seek professional help, because it's harsh for me to say that, but then it's your friend's life and they make decisions for themselves. So what you can only do is you tell them, this is what you think you are going through, what this can cause you, and then you leave it to them for them to decide either they want to listen and then seek professional help or not. So basically in that situation, your hands are tied. The only thing you can do is just let the person know that this is what you are going through and then you need help. And if you are willing and ready for us to go seek help, I'm ready to support you. I'm ready to, even if you want to go with a person, I'm ready to go with you to help you overcome these things that you are going through.
Okay, thank you. Our host, please, do you have something to say? Okay. Yes, Susie, please hold on. Let our host speak. Okay. Then, yeah, you can take it from there.
Yeah, I like to share my own experience. I went through a divorce and I didn't realize I was depressed, but a good friend advised me to go. I was very, eventually I ended up going for the therapy session, and it was so good that I ended up repeating the session over again, and I'm still doing it because it was so helpful. But initially I did not want to go. I canceled my appointment like 5 times before I went. So I just wanted to share my experience.
Okay, thank you. Please, how did your friend tell you?
How did my friend tell me? Okay, it was a very close friend and he was blunt. And I was actually upset. He said, yo, bro, you gotta go. You're not doing good. Staying in the house all day, you have to go. So I took his advice, but I canceled my appointment 3 times. And when the center called, I said, listen, if you don't show up again, we have to cancel your case. At that point, I said, you know what, let me give it a try. I went and it was different. It was a group therapy session. So I listened to other people's experiences, and that gave me hope because I realized that, oh, my situation is not that bad. Other people have a worse situation. So that's how it ended up. But he was really blunt with me. He said, you have to go. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Susie, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so I was going to say that sometimes there is this saying that familiarity kills anointing. When you are too familiar with somebody and the person is even anointed, you don't see it. So if you are my friend and I know you are depressed and tell you, and maybe you don't want to take it, what I would do, maybe I'll do a research about depression. I can take notes, I can print or take screenshots, and thank God for WhatsApp. Then I will send the information to you. Now you read it. It is not my voice that is telling you. When you read the document and you see some true reflection about you in the documents, maybe the person could take it and say, okay, well, I'll give it a trial. But if you keep telling and the person is not taking, it's because maybe you are too close or you are too familiar. She or he would not just want to agree that, no, yes, I have depression and that I need help. So what you could do is to find a way of letting him or her read about him or herself through a different means, not from you directly, and maybe it will help.
Thank you. Iphone, please, are you okay with the answers?
Yeah, I am, but the point is the love matter, it's kind of the husband and the wife. You understand? So sometimes when the husband stops misbehaving and then the love comes back, then she just forgets everything. And then when it comes in, when the husband starts again, it triggers it again. And then that's where, so it's like, fine, tomorrow you should be out. I don't know. It should just be somewhere else. And then the next day. So sometimes, like when you even go and talk, sometimes you become the third person because you're going to advise her. And then the next time you see him, she's with the husband and it'll be enjoying. And you're like, oh, really? And then the next time again, and then she'll be crying. So it's like, it's almost, how many years? Almost like 3 years. This must be going on and off to the extent that one day she told me that she wanted to take her life. So I told my dad about it, and then my father spoke to her. Then later on, my father went to her and was like, oh, this is what your friend said to me. So how far? She was like, oh, I'm cool, I'm okay. That was that at that moment, the husband was at home. The laugh has started again. So she's okay. But when the whole thing starts again, then she'll come back to you. So I don't even know how to deal with her. It's like she's on and off. And then sometimes I just tell her that it looks like you've got dementia. You forget things all the time sometimes. But what you guys do, I'll try that one and see. But literally, she's not ready to go any counselor. So that is another problem. Yeah.
I also think that we need to work on the husband. Maybe, I don't know how you're going to talk to the husband. Maybe the husband also needs therapy. If we work it from the husband's side, I think that there can be a change because now we know the causes. We know the cause. We know what is causing that depression. So we need to work on the husband. Then it can bring peace to their home. Okay. Please, any experience somebody wants to share? Any story, anything that someone wants to share? Okay. Ahos, is your hand up?
No, I have a suggestion for the iPhone.
Okay.
With the love affair, I'm thinking, why don't you get somebody who has had a similar experience to share their story with the woman? Not giving her advice, but if they can share their story and experience with therapy, maybe she might listen. Because I realized that when you go to group therapy, when you listen to other people's stories, it encourages you. So finding somebody who had gone through a similar situation to talk to it, maybe in a group setting or somewhere at a party, I don't know, but something like that. Just a suggestion. I'm done.
Okay. So I think that for this to be successful,
Derek, you want to add something to it?
Yes, please. I think that for you to be able to get people to go to therapy, I think that they need to own it. They need to own that this is my responsibility and I want to do it. And that is why I was saying that I think that what you can do is You tell the person about it. This is how the person looks like. You educate the person, and then you tell the person needs to go see a therapist. The first step for you to get healed is you taking the bold steps to go see a therapist. Usually in the cases where people are forced to go and see a therapist, they come because somebody said I should come. And in most cases, therapy don't work because they're not coming out of their will. They are coming because somebody is forcing them to come, just to come and try. Yes, you might like it, but in most cases, it doesn't happen that way because they just came because they wanted to make their friend happy. So it's sad, but until the person actually realizes that I need therapy, the only thing you can do is anytime they break down, you can support them, and then just tell them they have to go see a therapist. The more and more they break down, they get to a point where they realize that, you know what, let me try this, and that may be the way forward and their salvation for them.
Okay.
I guess that's what we call radical acceptance. She's right.
Okay, interesting. Depression in marriage. There are things happening in marriage. Good. Okay, so what are the solutions? What are the possible solutions available? I know you've talked about some seeing therapy and other things, but is it always about seeing therapy? Can't it be that a partner can help his or her partner or his or her spouse to get out of depression? Yes, Susie.
Okay, thank you. So one, I will say the first solution we can look at when we want to deal with depression is for one to learn to accept the partner like that. And if I say accept your partner like that, it means to try to overlook those behaviors that might deviate from his or her normal behavior. I mean, those of them that you can overlook. When we started, we spoke about people not being fulfilled, not getting their expectations. Okay, yes, I expected this and that and that. It is not coming, but no problem. If you accept it that way, then I think you can move on and will not get depression. It is not, of course, it's not all of them you can overlook. That is why I'm saying try to, those you can, you try to overlook them. And if you don't bother yourself with them, it will even be, it will become part of you, and then you are okay. Then, now learn the signs and symptoms of depression with your partner or with your spouse. We have phones, we have books around, any information, like we just mentioned. Some people are even depressed and they don't know. So one that can happen, and your spouse is supposed to be your friend. Once a while, just talk about it. Once you discuss it, you discuss the signs, indirectly you are marking or you are checking yourselves and checking your marriage. So if there is something like that, when you know your problem, getting solutions to it, it's not difficult. So you can easily deal with it and you are fine. I'll also talk about acknowledging that, yes, I am depressed, especially if you really know you are. Some people in marriage will just know I am depressed, but will not agree or not accept. There are some who don't know about it. They are really ignorant. They don't know that, no, this thing I'm going through, it means depression. Some know, but will not admit and look for help. So if you admit that, yes, I am going through this condition, and you go out for help, you are strengthening your marriage. You are making your marriage a better one. Then we talk about seeking help from a professional. That is where I will end it. You need to go to a professional. Sometimes those around you can help, but they may not be able to help you and it will be permanent. But if you go to a professional and they take you through a series of sessions, maybe you will come out of it permanently and it will help you. Thank you.
Thank you, Susie. Derek, do you have any solutions for us?
Okay. So first off, I tend to side with Jordan Peterson. He says that marriage is voluntary slavery. You see somebody, you said you like this person, you voluntarily enslave yourself with the person.
Yeah.
And by enslaving yourself with the person, he means that you are responsible for the person. So that's why you take a vow in front of people, in wealth and in health and all that, in sickness and in health. You are there for the person. And so the first stage, I think, is for you to accept that, yes, this person I am with is depressed. And by depressed, it means that the person needs all the support that I can give to the person. But we have to recognize that we are not professionals. And I think that when anybody is going through any form of depression or any form of mental health issues, it is important that we go see the therapist. But then before seeing the therapist, I think it's important that you show empathy. You let the person realize that, yes, you said you love them, and then you are trying your best to let this person feel better, or you are trying your best to not aggravate how the person is feeling already. And so showing empathic support to this person is very, very important. And also being there for the person emotionally and physically, and also trying your best to let this person go see a therapist is very, very important to help these people overcome the depression that they are feeling.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Solomon Crow.
I have a question for Derek. Yeah, for better or worse. So how long do you stay in your relationship if they're killing you? How long do you stay to be killed?
If they are killing you. Well, as I said, relationship, it goes through a spiral, right? We have the let's say happiness stage, we have the conflict stage, and then we have the repair stage. You know yourself how far you can go. Everybody has his limits. Okay. When it gets to the repair, when it gets to the conflict stage, most of the time relationship breaks because when it gets to the conflict stage, we're unable to manage or repair. And that's why it will break. And you know yourself how far you can go. If you think that this is something that is detrimental to your health, your mental health, and physical health, I think it's important that you can call it quits. So how far and how long you can stay depends on you and what you stand for and your principles in life. If you think that there is always light at the end of the tunnel, and then you think you can fight through it, fair enough, you should. But others don't have that capacity to do that. And it is okay if you want to quit out of it. Nobody should force you to do something that would end your life or that would put you in a state where you look back and always regret. So I don't think there is a standardized how long you can stay, but then it's personalized how far you can go because everybody has limits. Some people could go far and then they will say that I stayed and it happened. Some people would go out and then they say this is the best thing that ever happened to me. So I think it depends on the individual.
How do you know how far you go, especially in a culture where everything is energy? You keep killing you and you keep staying in there. So sometimes you know your point, but the society is forcing you to stay.
Mm-hmm.
No.
What do you do?
The society is forcing you to stay, right?
Yes.
But do you have the capacity to stay? Are you going to listen to society and get to a point where you break down? That's the question you should ask yourself all the time. Can I do this? If you can't, yes, the society will put pressure on you. You have loss and loss. usually people are punished when they leave marriages. You see that people will start shaming them and all that. And so it makes it difficult for people to actually leave. But then if you are suffocating, it's like you climbing a mountain. When you go up and up and up, you realize that the air up there, you start suffocating. And in suffocating means you're not getting enough oxygen for yourself. And so it means you need to come down the mountain. So sometimes relationships get to that peak where you are struggling for air. And people don't see that you are in it. You are seeing that. And so if you think that it's time for you to come down the mountain, I don't think you should listen to anybody, because you know yourself and you know how you are feeling in this.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, before our panelists give us their final words, I'd like to throw this question out. As Christians, should we use depression as an excuse to divorce our spouse? As Christians, yes, should we use depression as an excuse to divorce our partners? Let me throw light on it. Like, if I am depressed and I think that my husband is the cause of my depression, can I just divorce him? Can I separate from him? As a Christian, what can I do? I'll just mention names. So if anyone is willing to help us, then the person can go ahead. Other than that, we fall on our panelists. Ajo, please, are you willing to help us? David. Okay, I have Gigi. Is it Gigi or Gigi?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, hello, Nanaya. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay, I just want to attempt to answer your question. I think since we can work on depression, it wouldn't be like a good thing for you to divorce your partner just because he or she is the cause of it. You can try and work on it, like as your panelist said earlier on. They can seek for professional help. They can see a therapist and try to work on it before you would say that I would want to leave my partner because he or she is the cause of my depression. Yeah, that's what I said. And then also, let me quickly add this. One thing I've realized, like for one to stay out of depression is to really know yourself well. You should know what really gets to you, what puts you down, what makes you happy, and then all that. So for instance, if you always take your partner's phone and then like it really gets to you, anytime you go through your partner's phone, you get depressed, you get so down. Don't even take the phone. Yes, don't go near the phone. And then also, I think as married couples, we shouldn't always assume. For instance, maybe you see your partner doing something or you realize some changes in him or her. Don't assume. Don't just sit down and assume that, I think maybe he or she may be doing this. Communicate with him or her. Sit him or her down and then let him or her know what you are feeling. It may not be the case. So if you sit back and then you think that this may be the situation, whilst it is not, and then you start to get depressed over it, I think it wouldn't help. Yeah, so that's a little bit I want to add to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, any other view? Any other view? Hello? It can be anyone, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, iPhone, yeah. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So so what I'll add to what our sister said is, communication is very important in marriage. You don't have to assume that, oh, he knows it, she knows it. You have to talk. Okay, we have to talk. So sometimes, like women, we talk and the men think that, oh, because she liked talking too much. But what my father told me when I was about to get married was, Eunice, if anything is going on, you don't like it, you need to talk to your husband. Speak to him, but know how to talk to him. Okay. So we talk, and then depression, that is where you have to show your love to your partner, because you went to the altar and then he told everyone and then in front of God that for better, for worse. So if depression is in, where are you running to? You need to stay, and that is no opportunity to divorce your partner. Treat the person right, even you have to help. That's where the person will need you more. Because I remember when I had my first child, most of my friends were like, oh, you're putting on weight. Oh, you're slim. Oh, you're eating too much. Oh, your shape is no more. And they were thinking they were joking, but it was affecting me. And then gradually, it's because I've read about depression, postpartum depression. So I knew what was it. So I saw that gradually I was finding myself in there. So what I have to do was I spoke to my husband, and then he said, no, you have to do this, you have to do that. I'll help you. I'll make sure you have enough sleep, So it doesn't guarantee, or does not means that if the person is weak, you have to run away. Do you know when you are running away, the person that you're going to meet, do you know what the person is also going to face? You don't know. So depression does not guarantee you to run away or to divorce your partner. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other view before we go to our panelists? Any other view? Okay, I think there's a question from Gigi. It reads, please, I have a question. Yeah, if my partner is the source of my depression, for example, he's being unfaithful and has gotten some other woman pregnant, why should I stay? Why should I stay when he has gotten another person pregnant? Why would I want to stay? Please, who can help us? Susie, this is your house of Mame. Can you help us?
Okay. I was waiting for you to give me the opportunity. Okay, so I think to answer her question, your husband has gotten someone pregnant, and that has maybe gotten you depressed, and you are asking why should you stay? I will advise that, or I will suggest that for you to leave your marriage because your partner is doing so many things that is getting you depressed, I would say do that only if it is affecting your health or your life. But if it is not affecting your health, he is not after your life to take it. And it's other things you can stay and help him come out of it. You should stay. For example, he got another woman pregnant, but he didn't marry the woman. For me, personally, I will not leave because he has not told me he's bringing the woman to take my position. No, I would rather communicate with him, like what we mentioned here earlier. Communicate with him. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe he did it just once. Maybe he was tempted beyond control, or he was even dragged before that action took place. So if you pick your bags and leave, and you are the only lady he loves with all his heart, you can also kill him. So to answer my dear sister, I would say, don't leave. Once it is not taking your life, and your health also is not affected, he got someone pregnant, let him deal with that problem. And you should take your home to be your mistress. Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Derek. It's
For
not
me,
easy. Susie, honestly, it's not easy. It's not easy knowing that this person has gone out, maybe upon all that you have done for him. He has gone out not to only cheat on you, but to get somebody pregnant. First, the disrespect, the shame, the broken heart, a whole lot.
That is why I said communicate. Who is motive behind it? Truly speaking, some of them too is just a mistake. Some is influence, bad influence from friends. And maybe you are the only one he loves. So if you pack your things and leave, and this man, he only got the woman pregnant, but then he doesn't love the woman, your children will suffer. He will also suffer. So please, the first thing is to communicate with him. If you have realized that no, he loves that lady and he doesn't love you anymore, then you can leave. But if he still loves you, me personally, I will stay.
Okay, Derek, yeah, you can come in. But what I would say is, if you love me, you won't cheat on me. That is it. It's as simple as that. If you really, really do love me, you won't go out there to look for another person. It's just straight as that. Okay, Derek.
yeah, I think that for you to make a decision on whether to stay or not solely depends on you. As she said, that you'd have to weigh the options. Do you think you can deal with this or not? Do you think it's going to affect your mental health? It's going to affect you, your physical health also. It's very important. But for you to be able to stay, it means that everybody has a role to play. It means that your husband is supposed to come clean when you ask him questions about what happened, what went on. Yeah. And you also have a role to play, because in asking more of the details, you are likely to get more brokenhearted. Yes, it's happened. What did it mean for the person? Was it that he wanted a new adventure? Was it that there's something going on that he couldn't just tell me? I mean, Esther Perel says people cheat for different reasons. People cheat to maintain the relationship. Some people cheat to maintain the relationship. Some people cheat because they want a new adventure. And some people cheat because they just want to do it. And such people, it becomes hard for you to have a conversation with them, because it's likely that you're going to do it anyways. And so I think that it depends on the person. If you think that you can take it, fair enough. You guys should communicate and know what it meant for the person. If there's a repair you guys can do, fine, you do it. But then if you think that it is something that is your principle, whenever you cheat on me, it means it is over, I don't think you should not go by your principles. I think you should stand by your principles. If you think that these are things that they are no-brainers for you, when they happen, and it means it is over. So it all depends on what you want, but you should weigh the pros and cons in everything that you are doing before you make a decision.
Okay, Digi wants to know what love is. Because Susie, Digi wants to know what love is. You said if maybe the person loves you, if you go, the person might die or something. So she wants to know what love is. Can't men be faithful for once and stop saying it was a mistake? I was tempted. Don't women also get tempted? Don't we also? People seduce them.
Some women get tempted and they also fall into temptation.
So what is love?
Please, Derek, are you there? I will give it to Derek to answer for me.
Also for mommy, why are you running?
Okay. Well,
okay, Derek, in attempting to answer it, you add your final words, because I think we are far behind time and we need to end it. So you add your final comments to it, yeah.
Okay, sure. There are several ways to explain love. Okay, some people say love is a social construct. So you are taught how to love. You are taught an emotion to bring up when you love somebody. You are taught what to do when you love somebody. And so, frankly, they believe that love is a social construct stance. Okay. And then the other school of thought that believe that love is biological. You see this person, you feel there are a rush of neurotransmitters coming up, and then from these neurotransmitters, you feel like this is the person for you, and the person being for you, the relationship you have with this person, going out and all that, creates bonding, and creating bonding, there's a release of oxytocin to keep this continuing, right? And that is what love is according to biology. But some people also believe that love is what in the Christendom, love is what Christ showed for us. Even when we were sinners, he still loved us. So it was unconditional. And being unconditional, it means that you are willing to sacrifice yourself in some sort, that people are not perfect, and people not being perfect, you are willing to love them like that anyways. But we should realize that we can love people from afar. And loving people from afar, it means that, yes, this person did something to hurt me. I don't hate you, yes, but I'm still there for you when you call me. But there are certain things that now I'll have bandwidth for you. And so it becomes hard for you to get closer to me. But you know that anytime you need me and you call on me, I can be there to help you. And I think that understanding that we as human beings, there's a part that biology plays, there's a role biology plays, there's a role that our society plays when it comes to love, and there's a role that our religion also plays when it comes to love is very, very important. And so merging all these things would help us really know what love would mean for us, from our society to our religion and then to our biology, to help us know what love is. So my final words is that love is hard, because the new era of love here is that we are supposed to, or marriage is hard because the new era is that we are supposed to demand so lot of things from one person, and this person is not perfect, and the person not being perfect, we usually overlook that the person is human and would make mistakes, and so we don't give room for people to correct their mistakes when they make them. And so I think that we should give room for people to correct their mistakes when they make them, and in situations where we think that we cannot stand it, it's also important that we cultivate self-love to help us. Because frankly, when we say what is real, pain is real, and there's pain in everything that we do. There's going to be suffering in everything that we do, but there's something greater than pain, which is love. And love here means you loving yourself, you doing things that would give you purpose and not making you depressed and all that. So it's important that we are able to have self-love for ourselves, and that is where we can extend that love to our partners. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Susie, your final words.
Okay, so I would like to say that let's learn to forgive our partners or spouses in advance. Before he or she even offends you or do something you do not like, forgive the person in advance. And if we do so, we'll have a better marriage life. Why am I saying that? If we do not forgive and we harbor things, it affects us. And that is what brings depression. But no, once I know you are a human being, and for that matter, you are not perfect, and you can fall short at any time, I'll make provisions for you. And anytime you fall, I forgive you. Let's also learn to seek help. Some of us, we have the professionals around us, but how to get to them, let's make good use of them. They are not doing busy, but if you need them, they are there for you. So make time, go out with your partner, go out with your spouse, go to a professional once a while, just do it, and it will help our marriage lives. I pray that the Lord will strengthen our marriages. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. So on that note, we'll come to yet another interesting session. Once we see the signs, we should just seek for help. It is not shameful to be depressed. It is not a taboo to be depressed. And we need to seek for help so that it doesn't get to that extreme end that we would want to take our lives. Life is so precious. You never know what you get. So in future, so we don't have to end our lives like that. I will also plead with you to join us again next week, because we have an interesting topic as well. We will be discussing marital conflicts. So I pray that you join us again. Thank you so much. Let me use this opportunity to introduce our guest, our panelist again. Susie is guidance and counseling coordinator. She's also a head mistress, and Derek is also a clinical health psychologist and is currently with 37 Military Hospital. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, and have a good evening. Thank you. Bye. Meet you same time next week. Bye.